What's up, guys? It's time for a new video. I'm going to talk about what I got at Daytona this year, talk a little bit about the show, and just sort of show off some of the new additions that I got from the show, but also not from the show. So just check it out. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are actually these Chinese cave geckos that I got from Jake. So this is the Goniosaurus hainanensis. These were originally Jake's, but he had a male and 3 females. He lost the male, and so he was like, hey, you want these females? So I said, absolutely. So I got these guys now. Really cool little species. And of course, my lighting is not cooperating at all. It's a little better, but got 3 of these guys. Really cool. Almost like a same family as the leopard geckos, just not the opposite of the leopard geckos with the heat and the dryness. These guys, you keep them cooler and more humid. So 3 females of these. Really freaking cool lizards. I'm excited to have some. I gotta get a male. I'm trying my hand at breeding them. I don't think they're too difficult. We'll see. So I had to show these guys off real quick just because of how awesome they are. Okay, so I lightened it up a bit so you can see this girl a little bit better. But yeah, gorgeous geckos. And it's such a cool genus that not a lot of people seem to, aside from this species in particular, kind of seems to get overlooked. Like there's Japanese cave geckos, which are awesome. There's a handful of other species in the genus. It's actually a pretty big genus. So check them out. They're pretty cool lizards. Pretty easy to keep. So now I'm going to show off some of the corns I got. Came home with 3 corns and another Baird's. So we'll take a look at those. Let's check them out. Okay, so I just fed these guys today. They're all still in quarantine, which is why I showed you the geckos first. But this is a really cool ultra. It was labeled as a fader, but it's a ultra tessera vanishing stripe. It was labeled as a fader. Bought from Mike Falcon at the Daytona show. He's got a table most years, and at least the last 2 years, and he's always got awesome stuff. So saw this little guy and had to snatch him up just because I'm curious to see what he looks like. It's a really cool looking snake. It's gonna be an interesting progression on this one. I'm really anxious to see how it turns out. And so you guys know one of my main goals for Daytona was finding some honey. So found this little female, also from Mike Falcon. I love honey, like you guys know that if you listen to the Corn Stars podcast. I talk about it being sort of my favorite combo, color-wise. So I was on the hunt for a female because I have my other pair, my Honey Motley, which was also from Mike Falcon, and then I have my Honey Tessera from JT at Silent Hill Reptiles. And so I just wanted to add another honey to the group, and yeah, this little girl's smoking. Okay, and then also on the corn front from Daytona was this killer. Ignore that. This Cinder. He was sold as a Cinder Tessera stripe, but I'm pretty sure he's just a Cinder vanishing stripe. This is a male that came from NBK Reptiles, who was sort of splitting a table with Firehorse. They always have some really nice stuff. This guy was no exception. I saw him on the table. He was kind of one of the only things that wasn't het for Scaleless or Palmetto. And I really like the Cinder stuff. I really love those rust red stripes on the neck there. So I grabbed him. The price was right. And he's just been a beast with food. All these guys have already eaten twice. Really pretty. I really do like the Cinder stuff. And I'm very excited to sort of plug this guy into some other stuff down the line. And then, of course, last but not least, I had to get a Baird's. Can't go to Daytona and not get a Baird's. There was a lot at the show this year, which I thought was awesome. I'll touch on that in a few. This is a het hypo female, but this is supposedly from a new strain of hypo, which originates from the Davis Mountains area, which is sort of the western side of the range. All my visual hypos are males. I hatched out, I think, I had one het hypo hatch, and I'm fairly certain it's a female, so got this girl just in case. So that's the 4 pickups from NRBE 2022 in Daytona. Overall, the show was awesome. Selection was huge. There was a ton of vendors, tons of people. There were some hiccups, I guess you could say, with the main room and the second room. We talked about that in the recap show that you can find actually in the link below. Lemon drop. But it was awesome. It was great to see everybody. I had a ton of friends that I hadn't met before that I talked to on almost a daily basis. Chris Painchab, who I do Corn Stars with, he came out. It was great to see him. Overall, it was a great show. There was a lot of ball pythons, but not a ton of ball pythons. A lot of corns, which I thought was awesome. A lot of bears. I've never seen this many bears at a show before, too, which I think is great. For the most part, too, I mean, the show, everything looked really healthy. I didn't see too many tables with animals that looked rough. So Phil has kind of mentioned previously that, like, they could have fit the vendors from the second room into the main room, and I kind of agree with that. They probably could have squeezed them in there. I don't know why they did that, if it was like a COVID restrictions or if they had to space it out a certain amount or whatever, but overall, it was a great show. As always, Daytona is always a blast. If you've ever thought about going, I think it's totally worth it. It's a great weekend, even if you just go to hang out with people and stuff. For me, that's a big part of why I like Daytona, is going and hanging out with all the people in the gang and the crew, and it's a fun weekend. It's a nice getaway. I know Sundays, by the time Jake and I are leaving and heading back, we're usually pretty ready to be back home, and it's the right amount of time off. You know, it's not too long, it's not too short. I come back feeling sort of re-energized and ready to get back to doing podcasts and stuff and getting back to work and everything. But if you saw us at the show and you hung out with us, or you stopped to say hi, we really appreciate it. That means a lot. I really hope to see everybody there next year. There's talk of us vending next year for the network. We're kind of still ironing out the details there. It'll be awesome if we can, because we'll be doing merch. I plan on having some animals. We'll see. Quick breeding updates, I guess, since that sort of falls in line with that. I have one clutch left in the incubator to hatch, and that's going to be hatching in the next 2 weeks, and that's my thorn scrub rat snakes. So the Emery Milmorum, 5 eggs. And then those adults are actually going to my buddy Ryan Dumas at some point here soon. Just having to move some non-essential projects and make some room for some of the corns and stuff. So hatched out 2 corn clutches, the 2 Baird's clutches, even though one of those was the Het Hypo clutch, which there's only 1 egg. Other than that, did the Diones. Those did well. Struck out on the Bimaculata this year. And then I'm hoping, I gotta weigh some chondros, because I may or may not be able to pair chondros later this year. It's going to be kind of dependent on weights and stuff, and if I'm comfortable pairing females, we'll see. My expectations aren't very high, but anyway, just colubrids and rat snakes this year, which is okay with me. Got the cave geckos now. Ackies are growing, so eventually they'll be produced, and I actually have a cage from BlackBox that will be a video tutorial showing how to put them together and stuff. It's an XT4 that I got for the Ackies to upgrade them, so that'll be really good. And then once I have that uploaded and stuff, you can kind of see how the BlackBox things are put together and all the extra stuff for them. While we were in Daytona, I did get some nice pieces of wood for the new cage, and once that thing's together, it's gonna look really good, and those lizards are gonna be really happy. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you liked it. Awesome corns at the show. Awesome show, period. Definitely check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. We have a Patreon. Minimum's $1 a month if you want to join. That's also in the link below. Check it out. If not, no pressure, no big deal. Usual podcast content is going to continue to be coming out now that we're back on schedule. We did kind of take a week off for the show and stuff like that, but we're back to our usual weekly programming. So, thank you. See you later.